Raven. Mike, if you could share, we'd appreciate it.
How do you follow this, right? I think the thing I'd offer up, we just went through a law firm selection process, and with a specific focus on MBE, WBE firms. And, obviously, a lot of that came from, resources that have been identified through NAMWOLF and firms that I have met. But, one of the things that I think is important, and it's kind of a theme you've heard, there's a level of effort that your companies need to undertake. And part of that is a level of effort that needs to be undertaken by the NAMWOLF firms. I also have a good success story about the Patrick Law Group. They were politely aggressive with respect to making sure that they were never out of sight or out of mind from a consideration perspective. Now, we went through the selection process. We ended up with about 25 firms that we looked at, that we asked to have submit RFP responses. We ended up with 6. Those 6 were brought back to a facility that we control where we had all of the various practice groups in. And Cheryl was alluding to, I can tell you, and it's usually a month or two behind, I can tell you to the dollar what we're spending in each practice group and how much of that money is being spent with an MBE, WBE firm. And Joel, I'm at 4.9% as of end of May. I'm gonna get there, I'm telling you. I know, it's gotta go up. But part of what we did was each firm that came in was assigned a coach. And we said, this is what you're gonna need to do in order to present successfully and be selected. So we told them, how to put their presentation together. We told them areas to focus on, and most of the firms really paid attention. Some didn't. Those firms didn't do as well. But it was really helpful for us to get to know the firms better. But it was also really good for the firms to come in and present as to, okay, here is who you are as far as we know, Accenture. Here's how I can help you achieve your objectives. And that resonated incredibly. And one of the things that was lost on some people was the people that were there making the selection had not been involved as I had and others had been from day one. So they're coming in maybe with some skepticism about, what am I picking? And to hear the stories that these firms told relative to their level of expertise, how they were going to help us, what they knew about our business, reflected A, that they paid attention to the coaching, but also they connected the dots as to how they could be successful. And because of that, they've been selected. Now, part of it is to train them. And I applaud Freddie Mac in terms of what they're doing, because that's really extensive. What we have been doing is, we've done training sessions, multiple training sessions, some, via conference calls and everything else, but some live at locations that are controlled by the law firms, to basically explain, look, this is the expectation, here's what you're going to have to do, here's the way we analyze risk, here are some of the considerations in the environment that we practice in on a regular basis to get them ready to go. And it's an investment that you have to make. I also think, getting back to another point that Cheryl made, if you hear a common theme, these are people on this panel that care about diversity and care about things that are important from a standpoint of the health, safety, and well-being of the human population at large, okay? Not everybody is gonna fall into that category. And part of what you have to do an honest assessment of is, okay, who are the likely people that are gonna be supporters because they know it's the right thing to do? And who are the likely people to be supporters because they know the general counsel really cares about this? Now, I have a distinct advantage that some people don't have. I have a general counsel who, number one, really cares about this stuff, and number two, about 2.5 years ago, was riding his motorcycle on a back road in Illinois and was hit by somebody who ended up with his 3rd drunk driving arrest. And he lost his left leg. So he's in a role. He lives this every day, and he understands the value of diversity. He is not somebody who is going to pay lip service to something that he is a part of a world of. So it really helps in that regard. But this, the combination of things, you all have to figure out who are the people that are going to be the right backers and how do I get them to pay attention. And again, a lot of people are going to do exactly, I think, the point Raven made. This is somebody I'm used to working with. Why should I do something different? Some of your reaction because it's the right thing to do. Others' reaction because, frankly, you're going to be judged on it. And by the way, I have my numbers, and your numbers don't look very good. And you have to have these discussions because it's part of the process in terms of making it work. And the good firms are going to do well, and it'll make it an easy decision going forward. The firms that don't do so well, you'll look at other firms.
Thank you so much, Mike. I want to throw this out to the audience too. Are there those of you in the audience who might be willing to share how you onboard NAMWOLF firms because you think that they're good lessons for your other co-counsel to learn from that? Mark Tarango? Any chance you would?
Sure. I mean, many of the things that were brought up there, I could probably echo just in terms, we're probably on the early front of the stage. I will say that the point of setting NAMWOLF firms up for success is really important. So if you do interact with them, I think one thing that we try to do is we try to coach them along a little bit and kind of help them be successful with the other lawyers around it who have hiring responsibility. And in particular, if they are going to take a chance and work with somebody new, that coaching up front and the training, I think, is the only way to kind of, because there's probably nothing worse than hiring someone early on and it not kind of going very well. You really kind of like muddy the water for other opportunities. So I think that upfront investment is hugely important. And I think the folks sitting in this room, I commend everybody who makes the trip here. It is so huge to go back and to find others in your department of who can go. And it's great if you can have it from the top down. In our law group, it's really not. There's support in the higher levels, but not a lot of activity. So it really behooves, I think the in-house lawyers in this room to go and get others involved. And how you get them involved, everybody's going to have a different story to tell, but that's, I think, what really makes a huge difference in terms of the overall involvement and inclusion and diversity effort is how successful you are in bringing others into it. And we've started, just along those lines, we've started in something very simple and basic, but a simple diversity committee that really didn't exist before, of just kind of volunteers in our department. We meet, I think only every quarter for an hour, but we all walk away with to-dos, and we're all kind of moving the needle forward in different ways. But it's nice to have a committee and give someone official responsibilities, and so that's how we're kind of we've tackled it as of late internally to kind of spread the word around. So those are just a couple of things that we've kind of initiated recently.
Sounds great.